Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the board meeting this morning. Everybody's on virtual. Everybody's here in the boardroom. We welcome you this Thursday morning to the boardroom. We welcome our news commissioner here this morning too, Commissioner Barrios, District 1. We will have a public comment at the beginning of the meeting before the meeting gets started on the agenda items only. Then at the end of the meeting, we'll have another public comment to address the board. I'll call the meeting to order this morning. We'll have prayer by Commissioner Lutz, pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Barrios, and a roll call by Madam Clerk Fetty.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the beautiful fall day. Lord, we just ask you to be with this board today as we make decisions. Lord, we also ask you to be with our first responders, and Lord, just keep them safe and have them come home safe. Lord, we ask you to be with our military, and it keeps us safe and keep our freedoms. Lord, we also pray for those ones that are homeless, the ones that are fighting addictions. Lord, we just ask them to look to you and be more cognizant to you to do what we have to do. In your mighty name, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Barrios. Present. Commissioner Barba.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Lutz.
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda, or we'll take a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
So moved by Commissioner Cook and supported by Commissioner Barrios to adopt the agenda as presented. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, agenda has been adopted. Action on previous meeting minutes.
Commissioners, on the the October 13th minutes, we do have one correction to make on the date. And that is going to be in your packet, page 15 of 100, which would be page 2 of the minutes. Ms. Barrios will have the seat until December 31st, 2026, and it's listed as 2025. So I already have that corrected. Thank you to Commissioner Barrios for catching that on us, and that would be the only correction.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the meeting minutes from the September 25th, 2025 regular meeting and the October 13th, 2025 special meeting with that correction.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lutz to adopt the Board of Commissioners September 25, 2025 minutes, and the Board of Commissioners 13th October 2025 minutes with the correction on the date for Barrios. That is the motion. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. Brief public comment period. It's time you can address the board for anything that's on the agenda this morning. Want to address the board for any of the agenda items? Anything's on the agenda this morning, you can address the board this morning. Let the record show, Madam Clerk, that public comment was offered and we had no participants this morning. Move on to the consent agenda.
Chair, I move to the consent agenda minutes and the consent agenda items from the October 13th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting be adopted.
Been moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Barrios, that the consent agenda minutes and consent agenda items for the October 13th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting be adopted. Is there any more discussion?
Chairman, if I may,
You may.
I believe that was motioned by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Barrios.
No,
Lutz.
I did.
You did, Lutz. Thank you for that correction.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda has been approved. Moving to new business. Request to open the courthouse on Saturday for expungement fair, Air Demo Control Administrator.
Good morning. We received a request from Honorable Amy Grace Gerhart requesting the courthouse be open on Saturday, November 1st from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. To host that an expungement fair. She was, they're not requesting any additional funding. They are, however, working with the Sheriff's Department for security. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions on that? Request? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the 54th Circuit Court and the 71st-B District Court be open on Saturday, November 1st, 2025 for expungement fair to be open on Saturday, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. That is hosted by the Safe and Just Michigan and Michigan Attorney General's Office. The Sheriff's Office will accommodate the court regarding security that day, and the courts are not requesting any additional funds to hold this event.
I'll support that.
So moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook, to move to approve the 54th Circuit Court and the 71B District Court to be open on Saturday, November 1st, 2025 for an expungement fair from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. that is hosted by Safe and Just Michigan and the Michigan Attorney General's Office. The Sheriff's Office will accommodate the court regarding security that day, and the courts are not requesting any additional funding to hold this event. That is the motion. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion is passed. Number 2, health insurance update. Brian Bellware, Managing Principal, Gibson.
Good morning. He is available virtually this morning.
Okay.
We got you now.
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am sharing my screen. Can you confirm that everybody is seeing a slide that says recommendations?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. So this morning, I want to provide an update. 2 weeks ago, you all had approved moving forward with partnering with Gibson, and these were the recommendations that we had reviewed at that time. I'm happy to answer any additional questions or provide reminders on some of these strategies, but what I want to do today is provide an update on where we're at in the process and answer any questions regarding where we're at in the process and next steps. So we had reviewed a strategy to look at pharmacy coverage and explore some different ways of accessing high-cost specialty drugs. And in the environment with Blue Cross Blue Shield as the administrator and carrier, that would require us to go out to stop-loss market because the Blue's stop-loss would not cover a carved-out pharmacy program. So these two initiatives, evaluate stop-loss carve-out and leverage transparent pharmacy benefit model and pharmacy concierge, are somewhat tied together. And I'll provide an update on where we're at with those two. And then we also talked about leveraging foundation assistance. And that can be done without making any changes to your Blue Cross program, stop loss for pharmacy. And we have analysis that will share on that program as well, based on So those were the initial year one initiatives that we had recommended for consideration and to get in front of you all and other stakeholders with final recommendations and numbers. So I just wanted to bring this slide up as a reminder of some of those specific strategies that we've been working on. So where we're at today, as a matter of update, we have facilitated the transition. So worked with your team on that front. We are actively working with both of the carriers involved, Blue Cross Blue Shield on the medical, dental, and vision front, and then Dearborn Life on the ancillary front to fully access the information, plan documents, data, et cetera. So we initiated that process. Number two is, in order to go out to the stop loss market, we need a number of things. We need claims data, we need plan documents, but most importantly, all of the stop loss carriers are going to require a census. And this has proven to be a challenge. In taking over from the previous broker and with the current carrier, the census file, which is basically just a document that has all of the covered members, dependents, and the data that underwriting would need, has required a significant amount of time and effort to get at a point where it's ready to go out to the market. I think our team probably has over 20 hours of time invested in formatting and getting that file to a point where it's ready to go to market. So that has, just to be very frank, that has provided an unexpected delay in the time frame. So that's not something that we see very often as we navigate these transitions and go out to market. Unfortunately, it is the reality of where we're at today. So on the initiatives relative to carving out stop loss and carving out the pharmacy away from the Blues and leveraging alternative partners for that, right now that is pending market response and obviously competitive proposals. The pharmacy piece, we have the savings analysis and we have that ready to go. But what's pending right now is the stop loss aspect of it, because again, we have to carve that out because the Blues won't cover it if it's not their PBM. So those are two pieces that are pending as of this moment in time. We are pushing. Our team is doing everything we can to push the market and get some responses back so that we can identify if we have competitive options and if that's a viable path forward for this year. So I want you all to know that we're doing everything we can to push that as fast as we can amidst a busy fourth quarter and high volume for all of the carriers. The other strategy that we had talked about was the foundation program. So just by way of friendly reminder, this would be leveraging charity foundations that are established for members that have high ongoing claims. So they're dealing with some pretty serious medical conditions. And it would be giving them an opportunity to secure coverage through the ACA marketplace. And the foundation, through the donations that they receive, the foundation covers all expenses for that member. So all premium dollars would be covered. All out-of-pocket expenses would be covered. There would be no disruption in their care. So if they have an established specialist or facility that they're going to for the management of their condition, there wouldn't be any disruption from that perspective. So that foundation program has been implemented very successfully in a number of our clients, including Sanilac County, which we had talked about last time we were together. So our team was able to procure claims data from the Blues and look at and evaluate the nature of some of the members, the high cost claims. de-identified from a name standpoint, but we were able to look at and identify how many members may be eligible based on the conditions and the nature of their claims. And we identified 6 in your population. So 6 members based on their condition and current diagnosis, not only the dollar amount, but the ongoing nature of that, we've identified as potentially eligible to participate in the foundation program. And again, participation is completely voluntary. So we would not be coming to employees and saying, you have to do this. It's an option that they can consider. If they want to do it, they have the option to do that. If they want to stay on the Tuscola County plan, they have an option to do that as well. It's their choice. We're just presenting them an option, and there's no cost to the county to present that option until they say, yes, we want to move forward with participating. So what we're forecasting for the 2026 plan year would be a net savings of $150,000, assuming 50% of the 6 eligible participate. So we're assuming 50% participation, and the 150,000 is a net number after the cost associated with the program. So we did have that analysis done and have that figure to share with you today. Let me pause there. Any questions based on the update thus far?
How is that information conveyed to the individuals who you've identified? Is that a letter form? Is there somebody meeting with them in person? How?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the foundation program would be communicated during open enrollment to the population. So we would have information and messaging around what qualifies, so who may be eligible. And then employees voluntarily reach out to the foundation to initiate the process to see if they are eligible. Again, not everybody is going to be eligible based on their condition. So if it's a routine outpatient type of procedure that you're planning on having, probably not something that's going to be qualified under the foundation criteria. But they are making that determination and they're walking the member through the entire process. So typically it's simply communicated during open enrollment. And we make it a point of emphasis as it is a new program, but we communicate it in that way, and then employees, theoretically raise their hand and engage with the foundation for next steps.
Another question.
Sure.
Everything is covered for these specific individuals, 100%. Do they pay up front and get reimbursed, or is that covered automatically with the program? So I understand.
That's a great question too. So the foundation will give the member a preloaded debit card to cover the out-of-pocket expenses that they have.
Chairman, I got a question.
Yeah.
So if half of them go on the foundation, how long before the county would see a break in the, you said 150,000, how long would it be before that would be a break to the county?
So how long, it would just depend on when the claims. Typically, a lot of these types of claims they're monthly in nature. So a common one that we see participate would be folks that are getting chemotherapy treatment. So they might be going in and having regular treatments for 4 to 6 weeks, and then there's a break, and then they go in again. So we would see that reflected within the claims experience. And then the way that cycle is, that's adjusted quarterly, I believe, from what Erica and Shelley have shared.
So, this is Tom Bardwell. We're talking about hospitalization at the moment and high acuity claims. What's your thoughts on savings in pharmacy, which we all know is in national news, and as well as, I'm not sure if you're connected or where you're at in the 340B programs that were in existence. But how do you see the savings coming to the county with your pharmacy oversight?
So with the programs that we're recommending, is that what you're asking?
If that is what you're recommending.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two dynamics to the pharmacy structure that we have within what we're doing with the vast majority of our self-insured clients. We do have some programs and some clients, depending on the area, that are tapping into some of the 340B pricing. And that is a viable strategy if that's available. What we're recommending with the strategy of carving out the pharmacy benefit manager, currently that is through Optum, is the name of the PBM, the pharmacy benefit manager. So Optum is determining the formulary, they're determining the rebates, they're determining all of the contractual terms of how the pharmacy benefit is run for the county. And they're doing that based on their contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So you, as a county self-insured health plan, you do not have a contractual arrangement with a PBM. When we carve out the pharmacy, what we do is we establish a contract between Tuscola County and a pharmacy benefit manager. And just in that strategy alone, we will find savings because now the contract is written for your benefit, not the benefit of the carrier. So we have to factor in carve out fees. We have to factor in some of those hard costs that are going to come with that. But generally speaking, what we find is that the savings far outweighs those fees. So that's one piece of it. That's not going to be a significant dollar value in terms of savings, but it is going to maximize the contract and the performance of the contract long term for your benefit, which is very positive. The vast majority of the immediate savings and the $300,000 to $350,000 that we had forecasted comes from leveraging manufacturing assistance programs and international sourcing for high cost drugs. So any drug over $350 a month would be sourced directly through the manufacturer, leveraging programs that are available to make that drug available to the member at no cost. So that's no cost to the member, no copay, no out of pocket. The high cost drug that they're paying for today would be free. And then it's also no cost to the county because we're not buying it through the PBM. We're buying it directly, or we're accessing it directly through the manufacturer. What we find is 85% of high cost drugs we can leverage and access through the manufacturer. And that's where we see the bulk of the savings. In the 15% of times that we can't, we leverage international sourcing. So we're sourcing those drugs at lower cost internationally. Members getting the same quality drug, the same dosage, the same frequency, the same drug that they would get domestically. It's just internationally sourcing. And what we find in that situation is same thing, no cost to the member, but it's about 50% of the cost. So we're saving the county 50% in those instances where we have to access it internationally. And that's where we find the bulk of our pharmacy savings is through that program. So if for some reason we can't source it internationally, we know that there's been in the news a variety of different international distribution, there's challenges at the ports, there's strikes, there's different things like that. And so there has been some disruption over the past few years to some of that. If for whatever reason we can't source it alternatively, the way the plan document will be written is that it just comes back on the plan and you access it through the PBM. But that's a worst case scenario, and it's an exception to the rule. So that's our approach that we found very successful. If there's opportunities within the PBM model to structure and 340B pricing, we can evaluate whether that is beneficial to the plan. But again, in 85% of the time, if we're accessing at no cost, that's going to be the best route from an affordability standpoint.
So Brian, this is going to be an interesting scenario as it plays out, in the sense that, did you say 50% savings, or was it 15%?
So if we have to access the drugs internationally, it's about 50%, on average, it's about 50% of the cost.
Okay, because obviously, not only from the county's perspective and expenditure, from the employee perspective, we were left faced with Brown and Brown with somewhere in the high 40% increase in premiums. Part of that would have been, no doubt, pharmacy, and I'm not so sure they manage their pharmacy to the benefit of the county or counties anyway, but that's conjecture. How do you see the plan, or when do you see, and how do you see it being rolled out, the plans and the savings, what the employees are going to be able to enroll in? In other words, they were left with that high dollar increase. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll go to this next slide and review this. And Commissioner, if this doesn't answer the question, let me know, and I can try to answer it differently. So what you're referring to is option one. So if we look at your current plan, you've got a $45,000 stop loss deductible. Your hard cap is based on the Simply Blue HSA PPO 2,500.
Brian, your slide did not change.
Still stuck on.
Recommendations.
I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Seeing health plan update.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And renewal options.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're in business. So this option one is what was presented with that increased percentage. So per employee per year cost, based on that snapshot in time of enrollment, $24,292. It brings you $1.1 million over the hard cap. So that, if you just continue to doing what you're doing today, that's where you would be. Option two, one of the options you would have would be to look at increasing that stop loss deductible, which would be our recommendation, from $45,000 to $100,000. The stop loss deductible doesn't impact the employee in any way, doesn't impact the plan design. It's behind the scenes of how the stop loss is structured. I included a benchmarking graph there just so you can kind of see this is other government institutions in the Midwest, similar size. and where their average stop loss deductible is at. So $100,000 would be very on par and very reasonable in the market. If you kept the same plan design, that would bring you down to $21,000 per employee per year, or about $610,000 over the hard cap. So just making a change on the back end to the stop loss, keeping plan design the same. We've got in order to keep contributions at zero, we've got about a $600,000 gap to find. So $150,000 of that we can budget and forecast through the foundation if that strategy is adopted. And then pharmacy was, again, if we have a path forward on stop loss, and the pharmacy was about $300,000 to $350,000 in net saving. So that brings us closer. We still have a little bit to go. And so that can either be looking at making up that gap from contributions, or adjusting coverage levels. You know, what we're trying to look at really with option 3, while we're waiting for the stop loss market to come back, what we're trying to look at also is just looking at some of those coverage options. How can we get the best value, maintaining hard cap compliance? And so preparing those options. And there's a meeting next week to review some of those things. So that's the timeline that we're pushing. You understand that we're under a time crunch with deadlines and budget. Things that we're looking at right now and evaluating.
Well, thanks for that, Brian. I think the end in mind here, the vast majority that are listening this morning, is when this is all transition, this is pretty high level yet, it's going to end up being the coverage, the pharmacy coverage, and the plan coverage that each and every employee and their family will have to decide, if there's plans offered, different plans, which fits in their budgetary needs. And that's a major concern, because in terms of the county and retention, we've slowly lost over the many years our ability to retain employees, and we're becoming less competitive with others in the market. So when do you anticipate getting some numbers down to the point where you can share it, or we can share it with our employees, related to what their out-of-pocket costs are going to be, if they choose?
So based on the current structure of Blue Cross Blue Shield, everything bundled with them, stop loss and pharmacy, that is what we're working for the meeting next week, is to have all that was previously presented was one plan option. What we're looking at is a couple different options that we can put in front of the group and direction there, and that would be what you're looking for relative to the contribution levels, specific plan design details, all of that, and then we'll just have to make a decision when we get to the deadline of time, whether or not we have a viable stop loss based on what we have at that point. If we don't, then we're going to be in a position, just from a timing standpoint, we're going to be in a position where we have to move forward with the Blues this year and revisit the pharmacy piece next year when we have more time to go out and really dig into the market. I feel confident that we could hit a time frame relative to open enrollment kind of mid-November, but I understand that there's some time deadlines relative to your budgeting process too. So those are the challenges that we're up against relative to trying to get this stuff back from the market in a relatively quick turnaround.
So it'll be forthcoming. I want to circle back to something you said, just to see if I understood it or if those listening understood it. We have a estimated 600,000 gap. I'll call it a gap. I'm not exactly sure what you call it.
Yep.
And you said you could take 150 out of that, which would be plan savings or whatever you're working on in that respect. And another 350 from pharmacy, if that would be able to achieve, that's 500,000. So you actually have, you mentioned you have the difference that you have to find. So that'd be about 100,000, correct?
Correct.
And then just explain one more time, if you didn't already, where are you going to find that 100,000? What would you go for in terms of priority, top three things?
So at this stage, under the tight window that we have, the savings, that gap would be made up either looking at contributions. So that base plan would have some degree of contributions associated with it. That could be one avenue, or plan design could be one avenue. So adjusting deductible, co-insurance, and things along those lines. So those are the pieces that we're preparing for next week, and we can evaluate where the priorities are at and what the group wants to see in terms of those options. But those would be the levers that we would have to pull if we had to make that gap.
And both of those seem like they're more transcending down to the employee level. Isn't that correct? I mean, we talk about the gap funding, and that's my concern in a sense that at the end, we're going to look at what Blue Cross brought in, just percentage, and we're going to hopefully not see some relative number close to that the employees have to bear or give up benefits. It's a real difficult situation, Brian, but certainly on the hearts and minds of all the employees of the county, this is probably one of the top three things that they are concerned about right now.
Absolutely, 100% agree, and that's why we're working hard and diligently to try to find some options that we can help mitigate some of that cost without taking things away from the employees. So we're on the same page and we're working towards the same goal.
All right, thank you. No further questions, Chairman.
Any more questions for Brian? Thanks for the presentation, Brian. Appreciate it. Keep us updated. And good luck moving forward. Hopefully you got something at the next round of meetings. You got something for us.
And Chairman, after listening to the presentation, I'm just somewhat concerned. I know we're on the far end of what we don't know, and we're going to get to some more definitive numbers, but I think the number one issue that we're facing is the time constraint before enrollment and the ability to capture some savings. And if that doesn't happen, the employees for the next year are going to be faced with whatever they're going to be faced with. I'm hoping it's going to be bearable for all. I don't know if anybody shares that view, but health insurance is a key issue today.
Any more on the insurance?
Do we have a date that he's going to be presenting again?
Well, hopefully, we can check a couple weeks. He said hopefully next week they're gonna have some.
So
Numbers, so-
potentially at the next Board of Commissioners meeting?
Hope so. Well,
Okay.
hope so. We can double back.
Did you sense who this meeting's with? Meeting, carriers, something. I missed that, circling back to that, but.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to number 3. Discussion on the 2014 Ford Fusion pool car damages. Mike Miller?
Good morning.
Fire Mike.
Yeah, we had, the Fusion, was hit by a deer, or deer hit the Fusion, however you want to say it. The adjusters, were out and looked at the car. They've deemed it a total loss. We have two options, that the county board needs to decide which option they'd like to choose. They will offer us 13,500. I'm sorry, 13,500 if they keep the car, or if the county wants to keep the car and salvage it, they'll give us $11,550. Mine, because they they value the car at $19,550 for salvage, so they'll take that out of the $13,500 and you end up with $11,550. So the county needs to determine if they want to let the insurance company have the vehicle, or if the county wants to get the vehicle back and fix it ourselves. You can see in the report, they stopped at the damage estimate of 14,400, and they stopped at that point. You should see there's more items they didn't put into the estimate because it already went past the total stage. So it would be my recommendation that we let the insurance company keep the car, and we take the 13,500 and put that towards a new vehicle that we would budget in the 26 budget year. That would be my recommendation.
Chairman, I agree with you, Mike, because you get the car back, you fix it, you still got a salvage title.
Yes, and HR Shelley did email me this morning, and she did reach out. They will insure the car with a salvage title, but the email also mentions that during the time of the repair, if anything happens at that point, they won't cover any repairs until it's recertified to be back on the public road. But then they caution that you put more money into the vehicle than it's worth already to get it repaired. So,
Chairman, surrender vehicle. Move to authorize the Controller Administrator's Office to surrender ownership of the county pool vehicle, a 2014 Ford Fusion VIN ending 3043, which was involved in a car deer accident on October 3rd, 2025, and subsequently deemed a total loss by the insurance carrier, claim number 2503665. With this, the county agrees to release the vehicle to the insurance company for salvage removal in the total sum amount of $13,500 and to remove the county license plate and any county-owned property prior to pickup.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Barnwell, supported by Commissioner Lutz. The surrender vehicle, move to authorize the Control Administrator Office to surrender ownership of the county pool vehicle 2014 Ford Fusion, VIN ending with 3043, which was involved in a deer accident on October 3rd, 2025, and subsequently deemed a total loss by the insurance carrier, claim number 2503665. The county agrees to release the vehicle to the insurance company for the salvage removal with a total settlement amount of $13,500 and remove the county license plate and any other county-owned property prior to pickup. There was a motion, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed.
thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. We went to number 4 under new business. Catalyst Fund Agreement, Nancy Barrios.
Okay, in your packet, you received the agreement that was sent out, and then I subsequently got a follow-up agreement, which has been handed here with some date changes to the original contract. Would you like me to read the grant contract?
I don't think.
What is the word? No, that's,
No.
we don't usually read that.
Upon receipt of the signed contract, they will send the funds.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the acceptance of $5,000 from the Michigan Trails and Greenways Alliance, MTGA Catalyst Fund Grant that the Parks and Recreation was awarded for the parcel site feasibility study and cost analysis project. Funds to be received in Parks and Recreation Fund 208 and authorize all necessary signatures.
And I'd like to support that, please.
Second that? So moved by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Barrios. To move to approve the acceptance of the $5,000 from the Michigan Trails and Greenways Alliance, MTGA Catalyst Fund Grant with the Parks and Recreation was awarded for the parcel site feasibility study. Cost analysis projects funds to be received in Parks and Recreation Fund 208 and authorize all necessary signatures. Any more discussion? Congratulations, Nancy, on that.
Yes.
Great, congratulations on that, pursuing that for us. We all appreciate that. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. That takes us through the new business.
You got number 5 yet?
Number
Yeah.
5, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was number 4. Number 5, Commissioner Committee Appointment Discussion.
Chairman, I did ask for this to be placed on the agenda with Commissioner Barrios newly appointed. I thought that it was important that you discuss the committee assignments that were previously Commissioner Goodchild's to verify if those would stay underneath Commissioner Barrios or if any of those or any that you have would be adjusted at all.
Okay, let's go through what's on it, like the Board of Public Works. Nancy, how many have you looked at time to find out any times of these, when they meet or anything you need help with?
I still have 3 that I emailed and I haven't gotten any response back. The Great Start Collaborative, Human Services Collaborative in Region 7. I called EDC. They directed me to Debbie Powell. Debbie wasn't sure what this was either, so. But I got clipboards for every single one of them. And I've got dates for some of them. I just don't have those. And the question that I had too was, I saw something about TSCOLA 2020. And I'm not sure, who to contact about that.
I think
I
some of these
believe-
don't even meet no more.
So I believe Board of Public Works, I believe we have dissolved that and the Drain Commissioner is taking care of that completely.
You're right there.
So I believe that can be removed completely as per statute when Drain Commissioner Monti was still in. If I'm recalling correctly, I think Chairman Vaughn, you served on that as
I
the liaison.
I didn't
Parks and
serve on,
Rec?
I think Tom Young, I think did,
Okay.
but I believe you're right. I
Okay,
think-
so I think that can be taken off. As to Great Start and the HSCC, that'll be Rachel Keff that you'll want to reach out to, so I can make sure you have her correct email address. And then TSCOLA 2020, I do not believe meets anymore. That would be many years ago, and I'm looking at Commissioner Bardwell for some history knowledge on that, and I believe that has fallen to the wayside, would be maybe safe to say.
I think it has, and I was trying to remember who was heralding at one time, but I think it's been non-existent for a few years,
I believe as
or
well.
it was rolled into something else, but I'm not familiar with it, anyone meeting anymore.
I don't believe so either. So I don't know that there would be any contact for that.
Now, I want to also, keep Commissioner Barrios on the Park and Recs board. Okay, which she sits on now.
Mhm.
I could remove myself off that board. Nancy brought to my attention this morning that the bylaw says that there can be up to 3 commissioners on that board, if we choose to have that many commissioners on the board. But I guess,
And should Commissioner Barrios be as a voting member or as the liaison?
I was a voting member. We're all voting members on there.
Okay, just to clarify so that we can make
Yeah.
proper notes too,
And
so
I think we're short
you are.
on that. committee.
You do have at least one vacancy, if not potentially
I
two.
think there were 3 from what
Yeah.
I heard from Mike before.
So we will add Parks and Rec then as a committee report, then to Commissioner Barrios and remove the ones discussed. And then for the Department of Human Services Medical Care, I can get you Cody Rabidou's email as well.
The human services, what did you call that, Jody?
The department, the DHS and the medical care liaison.
Now, I've got that one. But the
You're
one
good with
that's Human Services Collaborative Council.
That'll be with Rachel Keff as
That's
well,
Rachel.
with Great Start Collaborative.
Well,
Those,
those 2 are going to be her. Okay.
yep, those 2 are gonna both be her, and I will get you her email.
And the
She's
other
quite
one-
lovely,
The
so.
other one that I don't have, Jody, any connection to is that Region 7 Economic Development.
That I am not familiar with on our end either.
Could I make a suggestion as we go forward with all of these, whoever has these committees on their lists, that privately, somebody in the back room has got a list of dates and contacts so that the next person that takes over will have that handy.
Yeah, and that, yeah, we have never had that in, all of those in our office. Those have been, I don't know if ever under, from when Mr. Hoagland was here in those days, if he kept that track, so I don't know whoever kept track of that.
I think the Region 7, and this is just a guess, Tom was very active at one time, and that was, Steve was on that board,
Okay,
which he lost the chair on the Tuscola County, apparently, if this is the same one, but I think it was Region 7 Economic Development Planning. And if Jim McCloskey doesn't know anything about it, did you?
I talked to Jim first.
And if he doesn't know, then it probably doesn't exist anymore, or we've lost.
I would probably agree with that, because Jim is a wealth of knowledge regarding EDC.
There used to be a Region 6 that Steve went to, and then that
That's right.
disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I don't know if it's the same thing or not.
And I don't recall Commissioner Young giving a report on that anytime in the recent time of his tenure.
You Googled it?
What's that?
Did you Google it?
Yes. Google that.
I would be comfortable in removing that at this
Yeah.
point as well.
I won't have to.
And then the Behavioral Health Systems Board, Tom, I believe that is the one that you serve on as well, so we'll have to,
Let me check my list.
with,
I do.
so we'll have
Well,
to,
the odd titles like Systems Board, I'm on the Behavioral Health Board, if that's what they're talking about.
yes.
But Systems Board, I'm not sure where systems came from. Tuscola County Behavioral Health. So yes, I am on that board, and you're on it as well. Let me check this.
It's listed on both of them.
It's listed.
Tom isn't on the Behavioral Health Board. Never was. And I replaced
have
Christine
been-
Trish.
Yeah, and it would have been, and Commissioner Grimshaw was already sitting on that board
He
when he
was-
served on
correct.
that with you.
Yeah.
So how this got on Tom and John's list, I'm not sure.
So we can scratch that one too.
Well, we're gonna have, I would suggest to scratch it, and we're gonna have a meeting next week, and I'll just bring it up to board level. What is the Behavioral Health Systems Board? Is that us, or is that something that was?
I do not have Tom Young nor John Goodchild on my committee listing for that board, because that is one that we track. I do show that you have a vacancy, but I don't show that as a commissioner liaison that either one of them. So I would say that we would remove that from Commissioner Barrios as well. And then for the road commission, I can get you Mike Tucky's if you need it. Or do you have that? Okay, I'll get that for you.
Well, according to Google, TBHS Board of Directors is listed right on the top, and the acronym is Tuscola Behavioral Health Systems, which I can't recall ever being used in a conversation, but that is one of the same.
So we'll scratch that one then.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I
And
think we're
Erica,
good.
if you have questions on how any of that landed, let me know.
Thank you. Are you removing them from the system or am I doing that?
I can.
That would be great.
You're welcome.
And, or if you would show me how for
Yeah,
future,
no,
that would
I can.
be.
I can take care of that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any more on the commissioner committee appointment decision?
Thank you for that discussion.
Move on to old business. District court request for the 2 document scanners.
Chair, I move to approve the request from District Court Judge Fitzer and Ian Lee, Chief Information Officer, for 2 new Canon color scanners, DRG2140, for a one-time cost of $15,798 to come from the 483 Capital Improvement Fund to the line item 101-130-727-000. There will also be a recurring cost of $2,073.60 annually, which would need to be allocated in line item 101-259-965-020 and adjusted to accommodate the cost. All budget amendments necessary are authorized.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Barrios. Move to approve the request from District Court Judge Bitzer and Ian Lee, Chief Information Officer, for 2 new Canon color scanners, DRG2140, for a one-time cost of $15,798 to come from the 483 Capital Improvement Fund to the line item 101-130-727-000. There will be also recurring cost of $2,073.60 annually, which will need to be allocated in line item 101-259-965-020 and adjusted to accommodate the cost. All budget amendments are necessary or authorized. Any more discussion?
Yes, I have one. Erica, what is the 020 line item?
That is the computer,
Operations fund.
thank you.
All of our contracts, all of our reoccurring computer costs come out of that.
Okay, thanks.
Any more discussion?
Thanks. I had to look at that. You were back.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Motion was passed. Number 2 under old business, GIS new PC purchase.
Commissioner, I'd like to make a motion to move to approve Ian Lee, Chief Information Officer, to purchase the equipment needed to build Cody Horton, GIS Director, a new computer at the cost of $1,523.38 to be paid from line item 258-100-727-000, and all budget amendments approved as necessary.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Barrios, supported by Commissioner Lutz, to move to approve Ian Lee, Chief Information Officer, to purchase the equipment needed to build Cody Horton, GIS Director, a new computer at the cost of $1,523.38. To be paid from line item 258-100-727-000, and all budget amendments approved as necessary. There's a motion. Is there any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. Move to number 3, under old business, 2025 fiscal year proposed budget amendments and journal entries. Erica Dibble.
Good morning. There is one update to the budget amendment that I previously presented. There was a grammatical error. One of the fund titles was incorrect. The fund line item did not change. The amount did not change. Only the title changed. So this is budget cleanup for 2025.
And what was the correction, so I can make note of that, please?
It was in the 292 fund. It was previously listed as foster care. The correct name is child care.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the special revenue fund budget adjustment number 2 dated October 2025 to adjust the 2025 revenue and expenditures across multiple county funds as presented.
Support.
Bill moved by Commissioner Loon, supported by Commissioner Cook. Motion to approve the special revenue fund budget amendment number 2 dated October 2025 to adjust 2025 revenue and expenditures across multiple county funds as presented. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved.
The next item is a journal entry, and it is strictly budget cleanup to correct some line item numbers. However, it was over the threshold and involved the PPT, so we wanted to just bring it to your attention and make the correction. There's no changing of dollars. It's merely moving it from 258000 to 258100 to be consistent with our financial records.
Chair, I move to approve the journal entry number 1 dated October 2025 to make necessary accounting adjustments, ensuring the county's financial record reflect the accurate year-to-date activity as presented.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Loon, supported by Commissioner Barrios to approve the special revenue, to move to approve journal entry number 1 dated October 2025 to make necessary accounting adjustments, ensuring the county financial records reflect accurate year-to-date activity as presented. That is the motion. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. That takes us through the old business and the correspondence. And a lot of these correspondences are what we basically talked to our representative about. But this kind of came up before we had our meeting with him to give us an understanding of what was going on.
And you know, Chairman, he really didn't update when previous to that request to put him on the agenda for the update. He was very concerned. He called me, he was very concerned that we had passed a resolution and he listed several of these counties because from the backside, it wasn't what it looked like on the front side. And he wanted to explain that. Well, for whatever reason, for good reason, the budget was settled and the revenue sharing is the same as this year, apparently. And he didn't really dive into it. So you've missed that part. It was an interesting background to what was behind the scenes on that, which is really interesting because everybody was, from a MAC perspective, was approving it. And unless you want to hear the rest of the story, we could always have him provide that. But he didn't do that when he called in. He focused on Amish, which I was sort of surprised. So with that, that's sort of a little bit more of what was going on.
Okay, so does anybody want to touch on any of the resolutions or good there? Move on to Commissioner Liaison reports, and we'll start there with Commissioner Bardwell.
Well, to be short, rather quick, Behavioral Health meets next Thursday. The DDA did meet. Nothing really new to report there. The market season's almost over, but they're working on other activities. Met on the EDC board, and the two main topics there were reducing the board to 9. That was discussed, and changing the meeting times rather than monthly to every other month, and that starts in 26. And for me, a lot of updates because although I was part of the board, we only met maybe once or twice a year versus the executive committee. Next 7th district, as everyone knows, is going to be the 29th, I believe it's next, it's going to be Wednesday. Mac Workers Comp Board is coming up. That is next Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll be chairing that meeting. I just found out Mac Finance Committee was postponed because of the conference. And the Real Action Caucus meets today at 1. That's my report.
Thank you for that. We'll move on to myself. I think health department meets tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Wish it was the following week, but anyway, health department meets tomorrow. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. We'll move on to Mr. Lutz.
I don't have anything else either, sir.
Mr. Cook.
Nothing to share.
I'm sure Nancy don't have anything yet to report. You do?
Didn't get my computer yet, so I wasn't sure of my email address, but I did contact the municipalities in District 1 to let them know that I was appointed before they read it in the paper. And I did attend a meeting last night at Elmwood Township. I went out there to introduce myself and attend the meeting. And it was a very good meeting. They had quite a good turnout, and they had some interesting topics, which I thought were, it was interesting. There was concern about data centers. Not that they've been approached, but concern about data centers and the consumption of water. And they have issues with water wells going dry already in the county. And the other issue that popped up that was discussed was AI use and trying to gather information using AI and getting partially correct information. If you're searching, you have to make sure that what you search for is specific, and then read your information, make sure that it's accurate. And I came away with a comment from that meeting, which was that there seems to be a feeling of disconnect between the county and the local municipalities. And I think people, at least in that environment, would like to see some more communication. And the example that was given was planning commission. If the township has a planning commission agenda item or an item, they have to forward it to the county for approval, and then it comes back to them. But there isn't anything from us coming down, and I'm not sure why that is. But one of the things that I went through in my progression of positions, I served as training director, training manager, training supervisor. And one of the things that, even with these charts, list, you know, who, what time, all of that stuff, to make everything easier. And I look at these, and I'm gonna say, poor townships, because they don't have the resources that we have here in the county. They don't have the EMs, and they don't have the, you know, people that are very competent, that's regular people trying to do the jobs that they've been, you know, elected to do. So somehow or another, I think I need to, and I'm taking that on as my own responsibility, do better with communicating and what their needs are and how can I help them. After all, I represent them. What can I do to make their jobs easier? So that's one of my missions. I have, there's an Akron Township meeting this evening. I'm going to try to make that. Tomorrow I'm attending a Thumb Prosperity Summit in Kingston. Saturday I'm attending the Trail and Greenways meeting in Rochester. That's the company, the organization that provided us with the grant. And they did invite me to go and attend that meeting. And then next week is the Cass City Community Planning Workshop, which I'll be attending in the evening. So that's it. And I intend to go to meetings. I might not be able to go to all of them. There's sometimes that there's, you know, 2 meetings on one day at the same time. You can't very well be at both of them. But I do intend to make it out to the facilities, not to oversee and to overreach but to make sure that they know that I'm available if they need something. So that's my report.
Okay. Thank you for that. And, any other businesses necessary? Come from the board. The only thing I'm gonna bring up, maybe other businesses necessary. You know, we're getting a lot of feedback about we need to, address Deckerville Road, Hearst Corner Road, stop signs, lighting, you know. It's all over Facebook, you know, how are we gonna address that situation? Then you got Bevins Road. I've been getting people shooting me stuff on Bevins Road and Hearst Corner. There's another bad one. There's accidents at both of them corners, you know, that are terrible. Somehow we need to, we can start with the resolution, get it to our representatives, because to make changes out there, to put lights out there, to put rumble strips, to do anything, it almost takes an act of Congress. You know, it's crazy what you have to do. I had, and I'm gonna give you an example. I had some people from Mayville get a hold of me. And as you're going south on 24 to Mayville, when you get past Mertz Road, the speed limit changes to 45 miles an hour as it goes through Mayville. Then when you go through Mayville, as you come to that last curve, where the gas station is on your right-hand side, past the bowling alley, it goes back to 55 miles an hour. So I had people approach me and said, Kim, why can't we need to keep that 45 miles an hour to the next curve? There's still businesses there. And every day we're watching people slam on their brakes because they're turning and speeding up at the same time. So I said, okay, let me look into this. You almost need a signature from Trump to get that done. You know, you gotta send it to the county. The county's gotta send it to the DOT. The DOT's gotta get an engineer to come out there and look at what you're talking about. Then from there, then they gotta get an assessment team to come out there and start evaluating traffic to see if they see issues. I mean, it goes on and on and on, just to change the speed limit from 55 to 45 for another 1,000 feet. You know, it's something, we almost need to go after our locals and see about, you know, we should be able to control our roads here in Tuscola County. We know what the speeds should be, where they should be, where stop signs should be, where lights should be, more than the state does and more than DOT. But it's something we need to look into because right now people are really flooded. Citizens are really flooded with that, saying, hey, something needs to be done at Hearst Corner Road and Deckerville Road, and something needs to be done at Bevins Road and Hearst Corner Road. So there were a couple things I'm going to start looking into, but as a board, we may have to pull together on this and give us the right people to say we need to get either some rumble strips, bring some lighted signs farther down, you know, 500 feet to the side or something, lit up also to give people warning that there's a stop sign in there. But something needs to be looked into because we just can't, you know, people are flooding and we just don't want to let it just die and say, we hear you, but we're not going to do nothing about it. You know,
Yep. Commissioner Vaughn, I went through that same thing at Bertrand Road and M15.
it's crazy.
They, you know, the supervisor puts the paperwork into the road commission. Road commission's got to get with MDOT. I suggested rumble strips on Bertrand Road. They have accidents there at least once or twice a month. And they told me they don't put rumble strips in Tuscola County. I don't know if the sheriff can say anything about that, but that's what the MDOT told me. They did put some more signs up out there, but they're still wrecking them out there. They do it at Irish Road and Bertrand Road also. You're right, you got to get an act of Congress to get something done there.
It's just such a huge job to do anything like that.
It is.
That we need to.
And it's not the road commission's fault because it's an M road. It's an MDOT road. They have to go by what MDOT says. But they drag their feet and they're not going to do it.
Yeah. And like I said, when it comes to our local roads, even though they're MDOT roads, whatever, our Tuscola County roads, who knows better than what needs to be where and speed than we. They need to bring that back to the counties and make it streamlined so we can do a few things. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm not going to let this die. I'm going to keep pushing on this and then to just see if we can get something done on it.
Some rumble strips are better than other rumble strips. I came back from Marlette yesterday, and there are some rumble strips on the road that you don't even notice you're going over them. Cemetery Road as you're going into Huron County, where it's Seedling Road at that intersection. A lot of accidents happen there. And they have rumble strips that are, they'll wake you up.
Well, the people that, they think that, guys, the county board, what are you guys doing about this? Well, I'm telling you, we can't do,
Right.
we can't do much about it because it's not in our privy, but we need to get it back in our privy somehow, because that's who they're looking to solve it, But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up and say, hey,
Good idea.
I'm gonna keep on this and we're gonna see if we can. But this is something that you can take to our legislators. It's something, they could get something on this and get bipartisan support for this. I don't think anybody would, you know what I'm saying? To streamline that kind of operation, because when I started looking into what I had to do for that, after a while, you just sort of hand up that I ain't got time to do this. Because they send it to so many places. But anyway, so that's all.
Can I add, you opened a segue, it's very near and dear to my heart, because of the recent buggy accident, more recent than the buggy accident. The real issue here, rumble strips aren't gonna stop people. That is just, you better put one on every corner. They're running through stoplights right downtown. Pat Gray will give you an example of one. I've watched it happen. The real issue is the fact that our road patrol, state and local, I'm just private, you and I are sort of not gotten together on this, but there's not evidence that when we got the road patrol millage, did the citations drop or increase? That's the question. We had an accident again on Hertz Corner Road, second one
Yep.
since the Putnams, just the other night. Yesterday, we had an accident on 81 and Dutcher Road with a funeral procession. Nobody in that procession, as you all heard, no doubt. The word came back from the cars that observed it. It was just no doubt looking at a cell phone. And they're very lucky. Blake stopped that procession and rendered aid or care, whatever. It's a serious issue. And right down this main street, if you sit and watch the cars go down, you could put a speed trap there and you'd be flushed with money. Hertz Corner Road is a Class A for maybe 2 miles to the cemetery. I don't think it extends all the way. It's like I-75. You could set up a car there and you'd be busy all day. Pick a road. So the awareness of the public has really in my estimation, has gotten lax because we are getting more and more, well, the folks in law enforcement will know, more and more accidents. And I don't know, just like yourself, we can put rumble strips down. Hertz Corner Road has 2 signs on it. It's wide open, except till you get to the corner. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Akron Road's gonna be the next one because the brush is developing there and you can't see to the north. And that's where they start on 81 and they're about 65 to 70 miles an hour when they hit that intersection. So I don't have an answer either, but it's so frustrating because you're waiting for the next shoe to drop. And
Yeah, and I know a friend of mine got killed on Bevins and Hertz Corner Road, and he lived there his whole life. And he ran the stop sign. He knew there was a stop sign there. He lived his whole life. He still ran it. But I'm just saying, I just wanted to bring it up that people are looking for some kind of answers, and like Commissioner Bridwell said, well, solve it, who knows, but we got to do something. So, yeah. All right, anything else on our other business is necessary? Move into extended public comment. Do we have anybody who wants to address the board this morning?
Morning.
Morning.
Sheriff Robinson. It's got a green light showing. I've been reached out about the intersections and stuff as well. I emailed the highway engineer. He basically said any projects that they do requires grant funding. It takes, sometimes these projects drag out for 2 years. Most of these grants, require matching funds. So that's another issue too. So I have reached out to the road commission, the highway engineer. In regards to the road patrol, our citations have actually gone down because we still have quite a few spots open on that road patrol. We're trying to fill them. The guys that we have are busy going call to call because, I'm sure Director Ramirez could attest to the fact call volume is going up for everything, whether it be the domestic violences, or crashes. So our guys are going call to call. There's less time to do traffic. I don't have a full staff because we don't pay them what they deserve. Carroll PD pays their guys more than our guys. Cass City PD pays their guys more than our guys. All the surrounding counties, they're trying to get back to pensions. They're stealing from us left and right. I don't have a full staff because people are leaving here nonstop. So to me, my guys need to make what they deserve so that they can stay here so that we can really start enforcing some of this stuff and have those extra bodies. We have that road patrol millage and we're appreciative of that and we're trying to work with it, but we have a lot of holes to fill still. That's why we're constantly trying to send people to these academies. We got one in the academy now. We got 2 people that we're looking to send to the January academy. But again, you never know when someone's going to say, all right, I'm going to Bay County for a 2.8 multiplier now. They just bumped them up. Monroe County, that's a pretty huge county. They just went back to a pension. So, and then when you talk about the health insurance scares and stuff too, our guys don't make enough. There's no pensions and health insurance is going through the roof. So I'm trying to do the best that I can. I'm trying to encourage my people to go out there and enforce these things. Just today, there's going to be a traffic initiative focusing on aggressive driving, cell phone use, things like that. State Police Post is going to be involved. Brian McComb set this thing up. We're going to have a couple of cars there helping out with it. And we're targeting cell phone use and things like that. I also had Lieutenant Hull and Deb Engelhart look into the old grants that we used to get from highway traffic, the planning, where we did the seatbelt enforcement zones. Because again, these ejections are ridiculous. So hopefully they can get us some funding to work some of those zones. Because at least if we get a grant to do a seatbelt enforcement zone, a guy can come in on overtime and take a break from handling calls. His only job that day is traffic then, is enforcing seatbelts versus going to a domestic and a refusal to leave and a suicidal person and another mental health call. It's just strictly a seatbelt zone. So we're working right now to try to get some of those grants back that we lost during the COVID days. So.
And what they don't understand, you guys can't be everywhere. I mean,
Well,
you can only got so many people.
Thanks, Sheriff. Any more public comment? You didn't see anybody out there in the city of land? Let the records show the public comment, extended public comment was offered. And we had Sheriff Robinson, just the board. And with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
The move by Commissioner Luke, supported by Commissioner Cook, to adjourn the committee meeting this morning. I want to thank everybody who joined us this morning, members in the boardroom, the sheriff's comments. Everybody talking, welcome our new commissioner this morning. And with that, we'll take a vote to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I don't think we've ever had opposed to adjourn the meeting.
I take Kurt's Corner every time I live here. And my kids all take Kurt's Corner. They cut through.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the statutory finance part of the meeting to order right now. We'll have a roll call by Madam Clerk Fenny.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Barrios,
Present.
Commissioner Bardwell,
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Here.
Commissioner Lutz,
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum, you may proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Action on previous meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion, we accept the action on previous meeting minutes, statutory finance, 25th of September, 2025.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lutz, to approve the statutory finance September 25th, 2025 meeting minutes. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's been approved. Move on to new business. Review and approval of the finance report and checks.
Chair, I review and approve the finance report and checks 10/16/25 financial docket.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook to approve the finance report and checks from the 10/16/25 financial docket. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That approved. Review and approve of the daily report and checks.
I have a question on page, maybe Erica can answer this, on page 7/16 in our thing. It says for Ransford and Crew,
This is the daily docket, Commissioner.
is it?
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is. For $20,000, $20,405. It's 260-100-801-010.
For who?
Okay,
It's
hold,
for Ransford.
I haven't found it.
What page you up top?
It says page 7/16.
Oh, okay.
They come out of account 260-100-801-010.
Okay, Ransford and Cruz, okay.
Yes. Can you tell me what that is, please?
So this is the MIDC. So this would be appointed counsel for indigent. So they are a roster attorney. So when a defendant is appointed court-appointed counsel.
And is that just for that month? Or is that just for the 10th month, you think?
I can pull this up for you. I would believe that to be true, given the nature where it says September.
It says cruise September.
Yes, so that would be, it's for Cruise and it's for their September billing.
Okay, thank you.
So I would believe, yes, that's the September billing. I don't know how many attorneys are at Ransford and Cruz. Perhaps it's more than one attorney and we're paying the
Just one.
company. Just one?
When I picked that up, $20,000, that was quite a bit.
That's sometimes up to 60,000,
Yeah.
depending on the attorney.
Yeah.
We've seen.
And obviously the number of hours
Yeah,
associated with that particular case, or are there multiple cases with that roster attorney?
okay, thanks.
If you would like more details, let me know and I'm happy to pull that invoice for you.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, I would like that because, I mean, I know as the clerk Fetting said, some of it goes up to 60,000, but 20,000 on that, seems like a lot.
Commissioner, put that in perspective for a moment. That is MIDC.
Yeah,
It's a single attorney. Maybe it's two, doesn't matter. Compare that to the prosecutor's office. And now,
exactly.
and look at the number of attorneys that's involved in this. Where would you want to put your office?
Exactly. That's why we can't get prosecutors. I mean, you got one right there, $20,000.
It's
That was-
mind-boggling. Not that it doesn't deserve it, it's just the mere fact that we can't keep pace with MIDC's
Exactly.
payouts. And apparently it was renewed in the budget. I didn't hear anything else, but just an example.
I caught mine, I read it real quick. Thank you. I make a motion to review and approve the daily report and checks 10/16/25 daily docket.
I'll support it.
It's been moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook to approve the daily report and checks 10/16/25 on the daily docket. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
What's been approved? We have no per diems. We have nothing under old business. We'll take public comment on our finance or statutory finance. Everybody wants to comment on statutory finance this morning? See it here, none, that's record show, finance, so, that it was, public comment was offered. And with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Or
Moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Barrios, to adjourn. Statutory finance meeting this morning. Again, thanks, everyone. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's adjourned.